Today's number is 116 degrees. That's how hot it was in Portland, Oregon yesterday, smashing the previous record of 107 degrees Fahrenheit. And it's not the only U.S. city to experience the soaring temperatures. Seattle had a record high of 108 degrees yesterday, and Salem, Oregon hit 117 degrees. The unrelenting heat wave is threatening to smother the region for another 6 days, and now it's beginning to trigger rolling blackouts in some parts. So joining us now on the phone to discuss what comes next is Bloomberg's weather reporter, Brian Sullivan. Brian, let's just start here. What's really behind these unprecedented weather conditions that we're seeing in several U.S. cities?
So a large high-pressure system called a heat dome has kind of just focused itself over the Pacific Northwest and southern Canada, and it's basically like a giant magnifying glass where it's just burning the landscape with these ultra-high temperatures that meteorologists have never seen before.
And where did it start, Brian?
These things are created by a chain reaction. So this one kind of actually got started with some flooding rains that happened in China a few days ago, rather, and it set off a chain reaction in the atmosphere, which led to places where it's cold and then hot and cold and hot, and then this really hot patch settled over the Pacific Northwest, and it got stuck there because the other thing that happens is the jet stream begins to get very wavy, and it kind of pins these things to like a vice almost, and holds them in place.
Right. And Brian, we were just taking a look at a map of drought conditions, and you just see how expansive it is across the western U.S. But there's also excessive heat warnings in the Northeast as well. I mean, it's happening all over the country, it seems like. How long is this expected to really last for?
So in the West, it's going to last for at least another week or so. It'll slowly diminish. The worst of it is over for Portland and Seattle for the most part. They'll be in the 90s and high 80s for the rest of the week, which those temperatures are something that we would have written about a week ago or 2 weeks ago, but now they seem kind of cool. In the East, we're actually going to get some relief relatively quickly. By the weekend, it's going to be cold and rainy in most places, so it'll kind of ruin the 4th of July weekend.
Oh, Brian with the good news this morning. Actually, Brian, this is actually really serious stuff. I mean, is this just the new normal? It's seeming like every year it's a new story about unprecedented weather conditions. Is this just what we have to get used to?
There are a lot of scientists who say that it is, and one of the problems that they're noting with climate change is that you get these kinks in what the jet stream, which is that circle of winds that move weather patterns around the northern hemisphere in the summertime. And because of the kinks, you're getting these large areas of high pressure, which brings the extreme temperatures, getting stuck in various places. But also getting stuck are areas of flooding rains. So right now in the center of the United States, in between the two bookends of heat waves, you have a lot of floods happening from Chicago all the way down to western Texas.
And what does this mean for farmers and for, people who are experiencing this, Brian? I know you spoke to a few for your latest report. How are they sort of dealing with these weather conditions?
Out west, it's absolutely terrible. I mean, people are put in the heartbreaking place where they have to decide: are we going to keep our livestock alive with the water that we have, or are we going to put it into the crops, which we need to in order to sustain their lifestyle and make any money? So this is the situation that's happening in the western United States. Really expensive plants like almond trees and things like that, they're going to have to sacrifice them. So it's damaging, and it could actually trickle down into the U.S. economy because a lot of vegetables and a lot of nuts and fruits are grown in California. So we could see some increases in consumer prices.
Wow. Just goes to show how much of a domino effect that this all has. Hey, Brian, thank you so much for joining us this morning. That's Bloomberg's weather reporter, Brian Sullivan. Thanks for your time. And now coming up.